2 years ago, my wife and I attend an indie show that was NXT adjacent. They had NXT scouts there all the time. They had NXT talent featured on the cards frequently. Before the show, my wife sends a message on Instagram to one of the main eventers saying, hey, we have a little bit of green waiting for you outside if you want to smoke at some point. And they respond, cool, see you there. We go to the show. There's two big main eventers on the card. One who just got signed to NXT, but hasn't been announced yet. And the other was not too far behind, still not signed, and still kind of weighing their options. We meet up with this wrestler in the merch table at some point, get to the end of the line, say, hey, we're parked right outside your door, actually, right behind you. We're about 10 feet away, so if you want to pop out, some point, just let us know. We'll meet you back there. He goes, great. We'll do it after the show. Sounds good. Show ends. We're outside in the car, prop open the door, say, hey, we're right out here if you want to, do your thing. He goes, oh, cool. Comes out, hops in the back seat, all sweaty and full gear, and we start toking. And we're just chiefing a bowl along, and suddenly, Robbie Brookside comes out the back door. And then so does NXT's latest acquisition, right behind him. And the wrestler in our back seat's like, stop, put it down. Do you have a joint? And he goes, yeah, I just don't want the lighter illuminating my face with him outside. And we're like, oh, okay. So we light up a joint, hand it to him, smoke, everything's fine. We ask him, hey, what are you going to do if you get signed? And he's like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll just start drinking or something. Or maybe I'll just, pay the weed tax, as they call it. And we just laugh about it. Show's over, we go our separate ways. Not too long later, he also gets signed to NXT. And this indie promotion is back in our town. And he's on the card. And this is one of his last shows before he goes over to the Fed. We meet up with him again. We're like, hey, part 2, want to go again? And he's like, hell yeah, let's do it. Show's over. This time, he's not as discreet. He's sitting out in the parking lot with us, standing in the middle as all the cars are leaving, passing around a fat joint from fan to fan to fan to him to fan to fan. Not a care in the world, not caring who sees him. He's already signed. He's all good to go. And we were all just kind of flabbergasted by his paranoia prior to getting hired to not having a care in the world once he finally signed that dotted line.
First of all, I can only assume who this was, but it's just an assumption. This is anonymous. The name was redacted. We can either assume or just wonder. But I do find it weird in the change of attitude and mentality. I almost feel it would be the opposite. Beforehand, you don't give a shit. While you're there, you do give a shit. So very interesting that that's the case. I like the mentality of not giving a shit. Just be yourself. Be the best self that you could possibly be. And if your workplace doesn't appreciate it, then go find a workplace that does appreciate it. I think that's sound advice. I would say only in wrestling can you just Instagram the wrestlers and be like, I want to get you high. But I feel that's probably in anything. I've never been a part of the marijuana culture, so I don't know how it works. I've been very adjacent to it. I've been around so many wrestlers that are a part of it, and I'll hear the stories, but I'm just not that deep into it that I realize or understand how this works. But it makes much sense. I love that you can not only bond over your love of chiefing a bowl, but also professional wrestling, and they all come together. And I appreciate you sharing that story of friendship and weed. Hey, thanks for watching. That call was part of a whole podcast called Wrestling Anonymous. Listen to the whole thing weekly. Wherever you listen to your podcast, go subscribe. And while you're at it, subscribe right here on YouTube to Colt Cabana's channel. Thank you.